Hello everybody, welcome to the Analyst by Vajiram and Ravi dated 11th May 2026, where we would try to comprehensively analyze 7 articles in 2 different sections, along with your daily mains answer writing program. In the analysis part, we will first have a comprehensive discussion with respect to the maritime security of India, along with the steps taken by the government, its challenges and the way forward. Then in the second article, we will have a discussion with respect to the suspension of Indus Water Treaty and its implication on both India and Pakistan. Then in the prelims pointer section, we will have a discussion with respect to 5 different articles from the special perspective of your upcoming UPSC prelims 2026. Coming to the very first topic of today's discussion, it is regarding the maritime security of India. Now, India is fundamentally not just a land power, we are a maritime nation with 7,500 kilometers of maritime coastal boundary and the strategic location of India, where we sit right at the center of the crossroads of some of the world's busiest sea lanes of communication. We are at the center of Indian Ocean region. Now, in fact, the 95% of India's trade by volume, it goes through seas, through ships, ship route. Now, if there is any disruption to that sea trade, be it through piracy, terrorism, or geopolitical issues, just like the blockade which we are seeing right now in the Strait of Hormuz, it will directly affect the India's trade, India's economy, India's energy security. Everything will be affected by it. So, in this perspective, we'll see the maritime security of India today. Why this is in news right now? Because we are going to host the Indian Ocean Rim Association Leaders Summit in 2027. Right now, India is the chair, or you can say we are the president. We have the presidency of the Indian Ocean Rims Association from 25 to 27, and next year we will be hosting a leaders summit in which we will aim to boost maritime security and tackle regional challenges through this Indian Ocean Rim Association. Now, what is IORA? Indian Ocean Rim Association is a group of 23 countries which come together, which are part of the Indian Ocean region. They comprise countries like France also, which have reunion as their territory in the Indian Ocean. Then Australia is also part of it. Most of the Asian countries having border in the Indian Ocean region, and the African countries, they are also part of it. Now, one more important feature regarding this is that it will complete 30 years next year. So this Leaders Summit, which will be happening next year, it will be the 30th anniversary, because Indian Ocean Rim Association was started in 1997. Now, why it is important for us? It is important with the perspective of GS Paper 2, India and its neighborhood in the Indian Ocean region, along with the international relations, and GS Paper 3, security. The security domain also comes here. Clear? So first, we'll see the maritime security of India. There are different facets of maritime security. What all does it includes? Now, first thing you should know is that there is no universal definition of maritime security. There is no universal definition of maritime security. However, maritime security refers to the protection of regional seas, territorial waters. Regional seas like something like this, your Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, some other small seas. Then territorial waters are the immediate waters along the coast, the first 12 nautical miles. Then maritime trade routes, marine resources, and coastal infrastructure in the form of ports and energy installation. Now, India have 13 major ports. Again, the security of it comes under the maritime domain. Clear? Because they are the facilitator of Indian trade. If we do not have any ports, our trade will completely shut down and the economy may collapse. So the protection of all this has to be done from piracy, terrorism, smuggling, and external aggression. There are sea pirates. You must have seen the movies of Jack Sparrow or about sea pirates. Now, in actual, there are sea pirates. The people close to the Somalia borders, because of the poverty or extreme situations, they resort to sea piracy, and sometimes they do capture some of the ships. So that is also a major issue in this region. Indian Navy also escorts sometimes they escorts the different ships. Indian Navy is also involved in some of the rescue missions when the sea pirates, they hack a particular ship. Then terrorism, it may be in any form, terrorism, state-sponsored, without state sponsor. The smuggling issues, Indian Coast Guard does a good work when it comes to smuggling, because they have the immediate responsibility of patrolling the coastal borders. So a lot of sea surveillance patrolling is done by Indian Coast Guard to stop smuggling. And finally, external aggression. What we are seeing right now at the Strait of Hormuz, that situation also we have to keep in mind that in future that situation can come. So this is the Indian Ocean. It comes within the domain of India. So we, as a policy holder, we have a policy to be the net security provider of this region. To be the net security provider, we have to increase our capabilities and stand up to the occasion. Now what we'll see, why this maritime security is significant. What are the significance of maritime security? Why do we? First comes the trade. India's maritime trade dependency. As we have seen, trade volume over 90%, roughly around 95% of India's trade, international trade by volume, is moving via maritime sea routes. Then trade by value, this 95% of trade by volume, it comprises somewhere around 70% of the trade by value. So this you must remember. Some high value items, let's say diamonds, gems and jewelries, they are transported via air and by a plane. So that's why the value comes down. But volume wise, a majority is done, 95% is done via sea. Then energy imports. Most of the Indian energy imports in the form of crude oil, natural gas, they come via ships. So again, it becomes crucial for India. Then you have port infrastructure in the form of 13 major ports and 200 non-major ports. Their security and the strategic location. Positioned near the key global choke points, India's maritime trade is exposed to geopolitical and security risk. This is exactly what we have seen right now. We are close to so many choke points. You have Bab el-Mandeb, you have Strait of Hormuz, you have Strait of Malacca, a lot of such choke points which carry a lot of trade through them. So if any disruptions happen in these places, it will affect Indian interest. Then comes the energy security. The energy security. Right now we are facing crisis. Yesterday only, in yesterday evening, I think the Prime Minister has appealed to the farmers to use less fertilizers in their field. Now, why this appeal has been done? Because the fertilizers require natural gas for their production, and we are right now facing natural gas issue. We do not have enough supply from the countries like Qatar, which were the major suppliers to us. So we are facing this issue. Most crude oil imports pass through Strait of Hormuz, Bab el-Mandeb, and this Strait of Hormuz is right now choked. It is blocked. Then strategic importance of Indian Ocean. Indian Ocean is equal to global geopolitical hotspot. US ships are stationed in the Arabian Sea. They are looking at the Strait of Hormuz, overlooking at that, and it has become a hotspot for geopolitical issues. China is developing a lot of infrastructure in the Indian Ocean. They are developing a lot of ports, like the Gwadar port of Pakistan, the Colombo port of Sri Lanka, under their policy of string of pearls. To counter that, India is developing the diamond necklace theory, in which India is also developing a chain of ports to create critical infrastructure that will support India in case of any conflict in future. So India possesses also a long coastline of more than 7,500 kilometers, so it becomes strategically important. Then changing dynamics and international politics. It is changing very quickly. And when you have a leader like Donald Trump, whom we cannot trust what he says tomorrow morning or whatnot, so the things will be changing very quickly. The maritime domain has grown central to global geopolitics. Example, the formation of Quad. Now, Quad again is a combination of 4 countries where India, Japan, Australia, and USA have come together for promoting the peaceful maritime trade. Then you have blue economy, which is an important component for the development of any country. You have fisheries, offshore energy, and seabed resources, which can be in the form of polymetallic nodules. A lot of activities and experimentation is being done to procure the polymetallic nodules from the seafloor, because they will carry a lot of metallic minerals. Then you have coastal security. To prevent infiltration and terrorism, we need to have a top-notch maritime security. Example is your 2008 Mumbai attack, the 26/11 attack. The attackers, the terrorists, they came through the sea route. So we have to have a robust maritime security. Apart from it, the humanitarian assistance and disaster relief program carried out by Indian Navy. Whenever there is any earthquake, there is tsunami, there is something else, the Indian Navy is the first one to respond in the Indian Ocean region. So maritime capabilities are vital during the humanitarian emergencies. So that's why maritime security is so important. It impacts multiple domains: your geopolitics, energy, trade, humanitarian assistance, and your blue economy. Clear? Now, what are the mechanisms available for maritime security in India? Basically, what are the laws, what are the agencies, what are the coordinating mechanisms available in India for improving the maritime security? First is the Indian Navy and the Indian Coast Guard. They basically do the patrolling of the maritime borders in territorial waters and exclusive economic zones, right up to 200 nautical miles. The patrolling is done by both Indian Navy and Coast Guard. The Coast Guard does the immediate coastal patrolling, and Navy does somewhat in the exclusive economic zone. In 2019, the Indian Coast Guard it intercepted a Sri Lankan boat carrying narcotics off Tamil Nadu coast. So a lot of ships are intercepted and seized by Indian Coast Guard, which carry illegally people or drugs, or you can say any arms or whatever, which is illegal. Then you have coastal surveillance network in the form of integrated coastal radars, automatic identification system stations to monitor maritime activities. So basically a kind of command center where all the activities are taken care of. You have maritime exercises and joint operations between India and different countries. A lot of exercises are being done between India, Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, India, France, then India, USA. So these are being done to enhance interoperability and cooperation. Example, exercise Varun with the French Navy. Clear? Then you have legislative and legal framework such as the suppression of unlawful acts against the safety of maritime navigation and fixed platforms on Continental Shelf Act 2002. Basically, this act talks about maritime safety, and if there is any illegal activity being done, so a person will be punished under this act. Then you have international cooperation through platforms like Indian Ocean Naval Symposium, Indian Ocean Rim Association, and the BIMSTEC. Now, Indian Ocean Naval Symposium is a smaller group as compared to the Indian Ocean Rim Association. Indian Ocean Naval Symposium is a, you can say, group of all the navies where they specifically look after the maritime security. But Indian Ocean Rim Association is a broader group which looks after economic trade, peacefulness, security, cooperation among different countries in the Indian Ocean region. And BIMSTEC is Bay of Bengal Initiative for Technical and Economic Cooperation between countries around the Bay of Bengal. Clear? So a lot of international cooperation are being done by India. Now you have a lot of capacity building and technology adoption programs going on where investment in advanced surveillance systems, patrol vessels and aircrafts are being done. New aircrafts, new patrol vessels are being given to the Indian Coast Guard. The acquisition of P-8I Poseidon. This aircraft is a maritime patrol aircraft which just does all the patrolling through air. If they see any suspected ship, they can give them warning, and they can also inform the ships of Indian Navy and Coast Guard about those ships. Clear? Then you have post-security measures, implementation of International Ship and Port Facility Security Code. It is also called ISPS code. Basically, this ensures the safety of ports such as Mumbai, Chennai, Visakhapatnam. This code has specific programs, specific SOPs to maintain the safety and security of the major ports of India. Clear? So these are some of the mechanisms available to the Indian government or Indian administration to protect the maritime security. Now, apart from this, a lot of Indian initiatives are being taken by the government for maritime security. What are these initiatives? First is Sagar and Mahasagar. Sagar stands for security and growth for all in the region. But this Sagar doctrine, which was adopted in 2015, now has been upgraded to Mahasagar doctrine in 2025. Now it talks about mutual and holistic advancement of security and growth for all in the region, or you can say, now this policy is not limited to Indian Ocean. This policy, Sagar policy under Mahasagar doctrine, has been expanded to the entire Indo-Pacific region, and here India talks about being the leader of the global south, being the net security provider to the global south countries, basically the developing and least developed countries. Clear? So this is the Mahasagar doctrine. Basically, India says that we will be the security provider of you poor countries which do not have as much naval capabilities to have their maritime security. Then Information Fusion Center, Indian Ocean region in 2018. This Information Fusion Center, it acts as a hub for information sharing between all the Indian Ocean rim countries. Clear? Then the Blue Economy Vision of 2030. This Blue Economy Vision, it is to harness the maritime resources while conserving maritime ecosystem. Basically, to sustainably harness the maritime resources. Now, the maritime resources can be anything. It can be energy in the form of tidal energy. It can be fisheries. It can be sea grasses, sea meadows. It can be maritime security and a lot of things. It can be polymetallic nodules from the base of the sea. Clear? Then you have National Committee for Strengthening Maritime and Coastal Security, NSC-MC. It was set up in 2013. This committee coordinates security initiatives across agencies, basically to improve the interagency coordination. This committee was set up. Then your National Command and Control Communication and Intelligence, which is called NC3I. C3, the three C's, that is Command, Control, Communication and Intelligence Network. It is basically it integrates surveillance data. Basically, it's like a command center where all the data from all the sides come and they collate that data and find out the whatever the you can say findings come out of that data, that is then provided to the agencies or to the government. Then your Indo-Pacific vision, where we talk about free and open inclusive Indo-Pacific. Now this is one of the aims of Quad, that we have to ensure that there is free and open Indo-Pacific and nobody encroaches on the you can say domain and sovereignty of other countries. Basically this is to counter China. China, you can say, overpowers a lot of small countries in South China Sea, your Philippines, Vietnam, and claim a lot of small islands are claimed by China. So to counter that, Quad has been created. Then you have international mechanisms in the form of treaties like UNCLOS, United Nations Conventions on the Laws of Seas. Basically, they define maritime rights and responsibility of countries and reduce the disputes between the countries. These laws defined in the UNCLOS, these are on the regions. A lot of cooperation is being done between the countries. Now, whichever countries they do not follow this UNCLOS laws or rules, they stand to have a lot of conflict with their neighbors. Then you have International Maritime Organization, IMO, which oversees safety, security, and environmental regulation in the global shipping domain. Clear? This IMO, it looks at the safety and security along with the marine environment in the international global shipping domain. Clear? So these are some of the international initiatives of which India is part. Now some initiatives are taken by India. Of some, India is part, which are international initiatives. Clear? So we have seen some of the mechanisms which are available in India to have better security and some of the initiatives. Now we come to the challenges. What challenges, despite these steps, our country is facing in the domain of maritime security? First is the jurisdictional complexity. Why? Because there are transnational threats which complicate enforcement. Because see, if oil spill or something happens on the border of, let's say, in the Sundarbans, it will affect both India and Bangladesh. So there comes the jurisdiction of two countries, then it becomes difficult. Okay, for example, dispute in the Bay of Bengal between India and Bangladesh. So there the jurisdiction becomes complicated. Then you have information sharing and intelligence gaps. This gap was majorly reflected in the 2008 Mumbai attack, which highlights that intelligence sharing failure was there. Although our agency might intercept these terrorists 100 times, but even if once they succeed in their mission, so that becomes a issue for us. Then you have resource constraint in the form of especially island nations. They face shortage in the form of trained personnel and naval assets. The smaller countries, they do not have advanced surveillance, they do not have trained naval personnel. So that's why India is stepping up to the occasion. But India alone, how much can we do? We need other partners for the security. You have corruption and illicit network, nexus between politicians, bureaucrats, and the organized criminals. Basically, it facilitates smuggling and piracy. Then you have lack of coordination among agencies. Despite having multiple coordination centers, you still see there is some lack of coordination between the agencies. There are disjointed responses which reduce the efficiency. Now, one of the examples for removing these, you can say, gaps between the agencies is CDS, Chief of Defense Staff, where the coordination between different domains of military has been done between Army, Navy, Air Force. Similar kind of mechanisms have to be done in other domains also. Your technological advancement of adversaries, that means the pirates, the terrorists, the adverse nations, they are developing their technology very fast. So it becomes a challenge for countries like us. Like in 2020, the drones were used for smuggling gold from India to Sri Lanka. Already the government, we are seeing a lot of drone use in wars right now, but the criminals, they were doing this 6 years back. Okay, there are cyber security gaps also, where through cyber attacks, the adversaries, they can take complete control of the port, or they can choke the infrastructure of our major ports. Then you have political considerations, you have complex dynamics involving India and Pakistan. Let's say the Sar Creek on the coast of Gujarat, there is a dispute between India and Pakistan. Similarly, China asserts its authority over a lot of areas within the maritime domain. So it becomes an issue. China does not even follow the UNCLOS rules. China does not accept the judgment of the arbitration courts. Then you have maritime environment and weather, where the area is vast, and adverse weather conditions, largely during the time of monsoon, they make the operations difficult. Okay, so surveillance during the time of monsoons becomes tough because of large area and the adverse conditions, very strong winds and high amount of rainfall. And lastly, coastal vulnerabilities, the fishermen identification issue. Largely, this happens on the coast of Tamil Nadu, where a lot of fishermen are captured from both sides. Sometimes Indian Navy captures Sri Lankan fishermen who come into Indian territory. Sometimes Indian fishermen cross into Sri Lankan territory and they are caught by the Sri Lankan Navy. So these things also keep on happening. So these are some of the challenges we found. Now, what can be the way forward? How things can be improved in the domain of maritime security of India? First is naval modernization. Though we are working over it, we have recently inducted a new Indian naval ship, your submarine, Arihant class submarine, INS Arigat. Okay, so we have now third nuclear powered submarine in the Indian Oceans. So we are developing, we need more indigenous shipbuilding in the form of, let's say, aircraft carrier. Also, we have developed an indigenous aircraft, we need more. We need advanced surveillance through radars and satellites. Right now, I think we are using GSAT satellites. We need further even more better satellites so that the entire surveillance can be done through satellites. We do not require any aircrafts for surveillance. Then you are strengthening coastal security in the form of smart coastal monitoring. Basically, this means the integration of technology, the CCTVs, radars, and other things at the coastal areas. So you can identify who is coming in, who is going out, and is there any suspicious activity. And then community participation. See, community is eye and ear of the police force. If the community is alert, they can avert a lot of attacks, or you can say criminal activities. So a lot of communities do help government. A lot of fishing communities in Odisha, they help in the evacuation programs during any cyclone. And the communities in Porbandar, Gujarat, they help to avert any illegal activity. Clear? Then you have regional cooperation in the form of information sharing and joint operations between different countries. So India is already doing them. We need to further enhance their efficiency. You have blue economy development in the form of sustainable maritime resource use. Now, while extracting the resources from the bottom of the ocean, we also have to take care that the marine environment does not get disrupted at the bottom of the sea, because there will be a lot of species who have never come to the floor, who have never seen light, who are adapted to the dark. When our machines will go down, they will switch on the lights at the bottom of the ocean. A lot of biological disruption may also happen. So we have to take care of all these factors while extracting marine resources. And you have maritime diplomacy, strengthen ties with the island nations. Island nation in the form of, let's say, Reunion. The France holds Reunion Islands, so better ties with France. You have other small islands like Mauritius, you have Seychelles. So we have to do better cooperation with these countries. And then you have better R&D. More research and development needs to be done in India, basically to counter the unmanned aerial vehicles. These are the drones, the drone technology. You have to do underwater surveillance and cyber security. Nowadays, small submarines can be created, very small in size, which will be difficult for radar to capture. So you need to have the technologies to capture the underwater surveillance also. If something suspicious is having underwater, then that also has to be captured. Clear? Along with the cyber security. Now, cyber security is becoming a major domain of any warfare. Our entire country can be choked. The entire traffic system, let's say, can be hacked by the cyber attackers. Clear? So we have to take care of this also, because the large ports, they are automated these days. A lot of their operations are done through computers and remote surveillance. So all that becomes vulnerable to the attack by the terrorists. Clear? Now that's it for maritime security. You have this question. You have to discuss the major maritime security challenges faced by India in the Indian Ocean region. Now the question is asking only about the challenges, but that doesn't mean you limit yourself to the challenges. You then also have to write what steps India is taking and what will be the way forward, what more has to be done. Coming to the second topic, it is regarding the Indus Water Treaty and its abeyance from the last 1 year. Now there are few treaties in the world which have survived wars, terrorism, and decades of hostility. And Indus Water Treaty was one such treaty signed in 1960 between India and Pakistan, which was also called the Treaty of Cooperation, or you can say the symbol of cooperation amidst all the conflict between these two countries. But right now, for the first time in history, this treaty has been put in abeyance by the Indian government from last 1 year. Now, India says that blood and water cannot flow together. If you are following the policy of terrorism, state-sponsored terrorism, we cannot allow our blood to flow at the same time when we are allowing water to flow through our territories. But Pakistan, on the other hand, says that India is violating international laws and they are going to face a food and water crisis in their country. But now, when it is 1 year since the abeyance of this treaty, we will see at some of the implications and the change in India's Pakistan policy, along with some of the questions which it raises regarding regional stability, water diplomacy, and the international law. In this context, we'll see that right now, 1 year has been passed since India placed the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance following the 2025 terror attack in Pahalgam of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, why this is important for us? It is part of GS paper 2, India and its neighbors, and then also GS paper 3, it is part of security and environment both. So coming to the first Indus Water Treaty, what is Indus Water Treaty? It was signed in 1960 between India and Pakistan. On the Indian side, Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru signed it, and on the Pakistan side, Muhammad Ayub Khan of Pakistan signed this treaty. Now it was mediated by World Bank. That means World Bank was also the third signatory in this treaty. So any dispute, World Bank needs to resolve it. Pakistan receives nearly 80% of total waters from these 6 rivers, the Indus river system, basically in this treaty. Now what this treaty does, it divides the eastern and western rivers between India and Pakistan. Basically it says that the western rivers, basically your Indus, Jhelum and Chenab, these 3 rivers, majority of the water from these 3 rivers will go to Pakistan. They will utilize this water. And the eastern rivers, the 3 rivers, your Satluj, Byas and Ravi, the majority of the water from these 3 rivers will be utilized within India. So we can utilize majority of this water. So it divides the Indus system into 3 rivers, where a majority of control of western rivers is in the Pakistan hand, eastern rivers it is in the Indian hand. So this is the Indus Water Treaty. So it was going on well from the last 6.5 decades, but right now it stands in abeyance. Now there was also dispute resolution mechanism in this treaty. How? Let's say if there is any dispute, first there will be a permanent Indus Commission. A permanent dispute resolution commission will be there, a platform for direct negotiations, meeting of at least once in a year. So if there are any dispute, they can discuss in that meeting, in this commission. Then you have neutral experts appointed by World Bank to address the technological disagreement. So second line of, you can say, dispute resolution mechanism, where if the dispute is not solved bilaterally, a neutral expert is appointed by World Bank, and then they decide based upon the technicalities that what should be done, how sharing of water should be done. And third is the court of arbitration. If neutral expert is not able to solve, then you go to court of arbitration. If not satisfied by the above 2 mechanisms, whatever the court of arbitration then says, then the countries have to follow that. Clear? This was Indus Water Treaty. Now what happened? We will see some of the timelines, how things have evolved in the last 10-12 years. In 2013, a court of arbitration rules that India must maintain minimum flow in the Kishanganga Dam project, which is on one of the tributaries of Jhelum, and says that India cannot draw down its reservoir below a certain level. Basically, India is allowed to have run-of-the-river projects on the 3 western rivers, Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, where we can have run-of-the-river project. Run-of-the-river project means that small hydel projects where the water keeps on running through the river. We utilize it for electricity generation and other purposes, but the water keeps on going. But we are creating some dams, and the government says that these dams are run-of-the-river projects. They will not divert the water will still go to Pakistan, but we need to utilize that water while it is going through the Pakistan. So some dams were created. In fact, in some dams the water was fluctuating up and down. So court also said you cannot reduce the water level so low that it may threaten the water security of Pakistan. Then in 2016, after the Uri attack on India by the terrorists, India suspends Indus Commission, the permanent Indus Water Commission. India suspended that commission meeting, and pledges to maximize its share under the treaty. Now what was happening, although let's say India's share was 100 units in this treaty, but India was not even utilizing its own share completely. we were utilizing 60 to 80 units in comparison to our share of 100 units. Now India said that okay, we will at least use 100% of our share. We will make sure that water is available to the Indian farmers and Indian people, and then we'll see. So this marked the first direct linkage between water policy and the security, because it was linked to the terrorist attack in Uri. Then in 2019 again a terrorist attack happened in Pulwama. Pulwama attack, basically this was attack on the paramilitary forces convoy. So India reiterated full utilization of eastern rivers. Although this was legal, that we can fully utilize the eastern rivers, but the move highlights the growing politicization of the treaty, that again and again whenever there is a terrorist attack, the talk comes on to the Indus Water Treaty, which was previously not happening. So more politicization was happening of the treaty, and rightly so. India does follow a policy that blood and water cannot flow together, and we are correct in that. We can do that, and this was all done within the legal domains of that treaty. Then came 2022. Due to the stalled dispute resolution, the World Bank appointed a neutral expert and a court of arbitration, reflecting deep procedural disagreements. There were disagreements between India and Pakistan. India wanted to amend this treaty, but Pakistan does not want to amend this treaty. So for that, to resolve those disputes, neutral experts and court of arbitration help was taken, but nothing came out concrete. Then in 2023, India invoked Article 12, Clause 3 of the Indus Water Treaty to propose treaty modification, citing that there is climate change. India said that the treaty was signed in 1960. It is outdated right now. The you can say systems have changed due to climate change. The water flow has changed. The hydrology of river have changed. So how we can follow the data of, let's say, 6 decades old? We have to again assess the condition of these rivers and do some modification into the river. And then you have national development and Pakistan's alleged obstructions. These were some of the issues over which India asked for modification of the treaty. Okay, so we basically said that we need more water for our national development. So we have to amend this treaty. More water, 80% of water was going anyways to the Pakistan, although Pakistan rejected the proposal. In 2024, India issued formal notice to amend the treaty, calling it outdated and biased towards Pakistan. Okay? India said that these are the main reasons why we want to change this, because it is biased toward Pakistan and it is outdated. However, no agreement was reached. Then came 2025. India was, although anyways, looking at a chance to modify this treaty, but then came the Pahalgam attack. Pahalgam attack in Kashmir, where a lot of people, they were asked their religion, and based on that they were killed. So this attack was sponsored by Pakistan, and India announced a suspension of treaty obligations. Basically at this time India said that we put Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. So the good part was at least we did not completely cancel out the treaty. We have put it in suspension to have a strategic leverage over Pakistan. Clear? So demanding action from the Pakistan against the cross-border terrorism. India said that until and unless you stop shedding blood of Indian people, we will not allow the water to go absolutely just as it was going previously. Clear? So this Pahalgam attack was the trigger point where India decided that okay, now it is enough, because they are doing a lot of terrorist activities in India. We will not allow the Indus Water Treaty to go on. Clear? Now, after 1 year, what are the implications for India for this treaty? What has changed? Basically, now we have increased control over the western rivers, the Indus, Jhelum, Chenab. It gives greater flexibility in the use of water from Jhelum, Chenab and Indus River to India. Now we can make more run-of-the-river projects. We can have better energy security in those areas. Hydropower generation can be done more without treaty-imposed design and operational limits. Earlier, treaty had some limits, some design obligations, that you can use only these kind of designs so that the river water course does not change. Now we do not have to adhere to those limits. We can do whatever we want because the treaty has been suspended. Then you have flood control and water storage. Now there is no restriction on storage in reservoirs on the western rivers, particularly the Jhelum. Now Jhelum passes through Kashmir. So we need to have water security of that region. For that we can create reservoirs also. We can store water without any obligation. Then suspension of site visits. Basically earlier what happened, if India is developing any small project on those west flowing rivers, Pakistan based you can say site visits can be done on those sites, and they can check what kind of infrastructure was being created. But now these site visits have been suspended. No one from Pakistan is allowed now to visit these places. Okay, then you have diplomatic signaling, where we link terrorism with the bilateral cooperation. Basically, this policy is also to isolate Pakistan in the world affairs, to highlight what activities Pakistan is doing, how they are promoting terrorism. And then you have limited immediate impact. Right now we are having limited impact. Why? Because see, to develop the reservoirs, to develop dams, it takes time. It takes years to develop them. Sometimes large reservoirs, large dams, they require even 20-25 years to be built. Clear? So the short term impact is minimal because India currently lacks adequate infrastructure to halt or divert the river flow effectively. But now we are developing, the results will be seen in next 4 to 5 years. Clear? These are some of the implications on India. Largely most of them are positive. We will see some of the implications on Pakistan, which will be negative. Okay, here they will be negative implications. First is water dependency. Pakistan received almost 80% of Indus water flow, which was crucial for agriculture. Majority of their agriculture is also dependent on irrigation from the river system and the drinking water in Punjab and Sindh states of Pakistan. Then you have urban water supply. Urban water major cities like Karachi, Lahore, Multan, they directly depend on the water of these rivers. Just like Delhi is situated on the bank of Yamuna, these cities are also situated on the bank of these rivers. Then you have agriculture economy, which contributes 23% to the GDP of Pakistan and supports 68% of the rural population. They will get affected. Clear? So 68% population will be directly affected because of less water availability. Then you have irrigation backbone. The Indus basin delivers around 154 million cubic feet of water annually for the irrigation. Again, once the agriculture system collapses, the entire economy will start to collapsing. Clear? So this is the issue. Then your economic impact on Pakistan, where lower crop production, increased food scarcity, and it will strain the rural economies, because less production will be there, the prices will go high, there will be high inflation, currency depreciation, all things will happen. Existing water crisis. Even in fact, before the abeyance of the Indus Water Treaty, Pakistan was facing some of the issues in water security. They were struggling with groundwater depletion, soil salinity, weak water storage infrastructure. Clear? Now they will be exacerbated. They have limited storage. The reservoirs like Mangla and Tarbela, they hold together just only 10% of the annual allocations of the requirement of water by the Pakistanis, and also the loss of security. There removes guaranteed water supply. Now this treaty provided guaranteed water supply to Pakistan. That guarantee has now been gone. It has been suspended. And worsening water management challenges and national vulnerabilities within Pakistan. Now if Pakistan wants India to allow water to go freely to their country, they have to curb the terrorist activities first. Clear? Now, what will be the challenges for India amid all this? Okay, we have suspended the treaty, but we will also face some challenges because we do not have enough infrastructure to capture all the water. So first is infrastructure constraint. We lack sufficient storage facilities. Clear? Then international scrutiny. Need to maintain image as a responsible power. This is most important. We are trying to be the head of the global south, the developing world, but a developing head country has to be responsible. A superpower has to be responsible. So the international communities, they are watching us, what we are doing. That's why India has not completely dismantled this treaty. That's why we have already put it in abeyance, because we maintain a rule-based order. Then water politics may set precedent. Now what today India is doing with Pakistan, the same thing can be done by China against India. Brahmaputra comes from China. We are the lower riparian countries. China is the upper riparian country. They can do the same work on Brahmaputra also. China is also watching what India is doing with the Indus Water Treaty. Clear? So we have to keep these things in mind. Then escalation risk. Water dispute may intensify conflict. What if the situation in Pakistan becomes worse? What if they resort to a full-blown war with India? Although they will be crushed if they do any such war, but that will also have impact on India's economy. Okay? And then you have China factor. China is the upper riparian of Brahmaputra, which we have already discussed. Clear? These are some of the challenges. Now, what can be the way forward? What can be done regarding this treaty? First is renegotiation based instead of collapse. Instead of collapsing this treaty, the treaty has been a symbol of cooperation amidst conflict. So we need better cooperation in this treaty. We need more renegotiation based on the provisions of climate change, hydropower sharing, and data sharing between the countries. So we have to take in account the climate change, what factors have changed, what kind of flow right now is in the rivers. Clear? Then strategic water utilization by building infrastructure within the legal limits of the treaty. As we have seen that India still, we are not utilizing the entire 100% quota which we have for the water. Then balance security and diplomacy. Avoid uncontrolled escalation. So yes, we have to maintain a balance between diplomacy and security. Only fighting cannot resolve the issue. You have to be diplomatic also along with the fight. You have to sit on the table and talk also. Right now, what Iran and USA are doing, they are sitting on a table and discussing what can be done. And last is regional water cooperation. A long-term stability requires cooperation between different countries. Sometimes India is upper riparian country, Bangladesh, Pakistan are lower riparian countries. Sometimes Nepal and China are upper riparian countries, India is lower riparian. So to maintain a stability in the entire South Asian region, we need cooperation between the parties. So these are some of the way forwards which can be done. So completely removing this treaty is not a solution. We have to modify it. Now because it is suspended, to again start it, we have a good leverage that we can negotiate good terms to again resume this treaty. Clear? So what question you will do? Examine the geopolitical and strategic implications of India keeping the Indus water treaty in abeyance. Make sure you write this answer. Now coming to the prelims pointer section, the first topic is regarding the Haryana local body polls where there is 54% voter turnout. Now what we have to remember here is the local bodies, how the polling is done, who does that, who is the main authority here. The municipality elections or the urban local body elections, they are done on the constitutional basis. The 74th Constitutional Amendment Act in 1992, it provided for a new Part 9A into the Constitution, and they added some new articles from 243P to 243ZG. These articles were added which provided for the municipalities and their administration in the Constitution. Now the conduct of election is done by State Election Commission. This is not done by Election Commission, it is done by State Election Commission. Now what you have to keep in mind is that there are different types of municipalities. Probably there are 3 types of municipalities. The first is the Nagar Panchayat. Now Nagar Panchayat is not for rural areas, it is for urban areas, but those urban areas which are transitioning fast, the areas which are in the process of transitioning from the rural to urban areas. Clear? So members are chosen directly, indirectly by the wards. Okay? They are chosen through direct elections, and the head is a chairman or mayor. Clear? Then you have municipal council for smaller urban areas. The difference between municipal council and municipal corporation is only of the area. If the city is like it is a big city like Delhi, you will have municipal corporation of Delhi, MCD. If it is a smaller city, you will have municipal council. So this is the difference. Okay? Again, direct elections ke through people are chosen, and mayor is the head here. Largely a ceremonial, and in the civil servants they generally do the executive work. Then in the municipal corporation of a larger area, larger city, the functional head is municipal commissioner, who is appointed by the state government. He is normally a IAS officer who heads this municipal corporation as a functional head, as municipal commissioner. Now he is the executive head. They have the executive power vested in him. So whatever decisions the municipal council, the political body of municipal corporation will take, they will be executed by these IAS officers. Now the members are called councillors here. They are elected through direct elections. The head of a municipal corporation is a mayor. They are elected for 1 year term. After every 1 year, new mayor is selected. Now these are basically your ceremonial positions. They take all the policy measures, what policy actions have to be adopted, but ultimate implementation and the execution is done by the municipal commissioner, which is an IAS officer. In future, if you guys are selected as an IAS officer, you will also be like the municipal commissioners of some cities. Clear? Then deputy mayors are appointed by the mayor. These are insignificant. What more you need to remember is that there are ward committees. So multiple wards where people are selected, they club together and create so many multiple committees. These committees can put forward their demand for that particular regions. Now the tenure of urban local body like normal Lok Sabha, or you can say the member of legislative assemblies, their tenure is also a 5 year. Clear? If urban local body is dissolved before completing its 5-year tenure, there should be a mandatory fresh election within 6 months. Within 6 months. That whenever a assembly, or you can say urban local body is dissolved, new election has to be done within 6 months. and the newly elected body serves only for the remainder of the period. That, let's say if the first assembly had spent 3 years and then they are dissolved, then the new body will work only for the remaining 2 years, not for the entire 5 year. There is only one exception here, that if just 6 months are left, that means 4.5 years have already been spent by the urban local body, then whatever new body is elected, they will remain for the entire 5 years. Clear? Otherwise, normally in normal case, what will happen? Whatever the tenure is left, only that is spent by the new urban local body. Again, then you'll have election. Clear? And what are the functions of these urban local bodies? Largely your economic development activities. They focus on urban planning, they focus on registration of birth and death, they focus on public service and amenities. The sanitation activities are taken care by them. A lot of educational and health activities, primary schools, primary health centers, they are operated by these municipalities. Then there are reservations for SC and STs, compulsory reservation in these urban local bodies. There are 1/3 seats reserved for women also, compulsorily. However, the states may provide for OBC reservation also, but this backward class reservation is not compulsory according to 74th Amendment. They depend upon the state. If the state want to give, they can give. In fact, some states can also give the 50% women reservation quota also. That depends upon that. But giving 1/3 women reservation is compulsory. Having reservation for SC, ST is compulsory. Then 12th schedule was also included by the 74th Amendment Act. Basically, 12th schedule talks about urban local bodies and their functions. It includes 18 subjects related to municipalities. And the eligibility for running for the post of ward heads, or you can say the mayor and other persons, it is 21 years. That you should be at least 21 years to stand for to contest the elections of urban local bodies. In Lok Sabha it is 25, in Rajya Sabha it is 30. So remember this, here it is 21. Clear? For MLA, Member of Legislative Assembly also it is 25, here it is 21. And you also have to be a registered voter of that particular municipality. Then finance is taken care by State Finance Commission, just like you have Finance Commission of India under Article 280. Here we have State Finance Commission, which devolves the fund between the state government and the local government. Clear? Now what can be the exam traps here? The elections for urban local bodies are conducted by Election Commission of India. This is wrong, by State Election Commission. Then it was introduced by 73rd Amendment. This is wrong, 73rd से पंचायती राज institutions आए थे. It was introduced by 74th Constitutional Amendment Act 1982. Clear? The tenure is not 6, it is 5 years. Then Nagar Panchayat are meant for rural area. No, they are meant for areas transitioning from rural to urban areas. Nagar Panchayat. Clear? For smaller cities, it is municipal council. For larger cities, it is municipal corporation. Then women reservation is 50% mandatory. No, 50% is not mandatory. Mandatory is 33%, 1/3. Rest, it depends upon state government. They can give 50% also. And municipalities are mentioned in 11th schedule. Wrong, they are mentioned in 12th schedule. Clear? So these are some of the exam texts which you have to take care of. Coming to the next topic, it is regarding the homegrown AI system for defense sector. Now, what is homegrown AI system or homegrown defense AI system? It is also called sovereign AI. Now, what is sovereign? As the term sovereign suggests, it is regarding the sovereignty of a country. We maintain the control over that AI system. Now, it is the nation's capabilities to produce artificial intelligence using its own infrastructure. We do not have to depend upon Claude, or you can say OpenAI or Amazon or Google for that. We should have our own infrastructure, our own data, own workforce, and own business networks. Then we can create a sovereign AI where we will be having complete control over the AI system. Now, complete control does not mean that government want to have control over it. Basically, to protect the security, to protect the data of our country, we need to have sovereign AI. Or these multinational companies, these hyperscalers, they'll come to India, they'll exploit all the opportunities, and they may take the majority of the chunk of the profit from our country. So to protect national security, economic competitiveness of our businesses, and societal well-being, we need to have sovereign AI. Clear? So in this regard, we will see the India AI Mission 2.0, which started from 2026. It was announced at the India AI Impact Summit in 2026, which held in Delhi. In Feb of 2026, India AI Impact Summit held, where the Indian government announced the India AI Mission 2.0. So this government initiative to strengthen India's AI ecosystem. The nodal ministry is MITI, Ministry of Electronics and IT. What are the objectives? to build AI computing infrastructure, datasets, talent, startup, and research ecosystem. Reduce dependence on foreign AI models, as we have discussed. And here the AI will be for India and make AI in India. These are the primary objectives of India AI mission. What do you have to keep in mind? The key aspects of India AI mission include the MSME focused AI stack. Just like your UPI, similar to UPI, a common digital platform will be created to host ready to use AI solutions. Basically, the infrastructure for AI will be created. Then anybody can come and use that infrastructure and create apps over that AI system. So a kind of base will be created. Then you keep on building whatever requirement is there for MSMEs. Compute expansion. Under this India AI mission, we will increase the GPUs in India. GPUs are graphic processing units. These are basically chips created by NVIDIA, which increase the capacity to do multiple tasks by the computer. Basically, a kind of RAM, what you have in your computers or phones. This increases the capacity to handle more power by the computer. Basically, they can do complex algorithms or complex calculations very quickly. So right now, we are aiming to add 20,000 GPUs in the existing 38,000. So our total will become 58,000 GPUs in India. Now, however, the ultimate aim is to increase it to 1 lakh GPUs by the end of 2026. Now, these GPUs will provide an infrastructure for the startups, MSMEs to work over them. They will provide the capability, the high-speed capability to work on these kind of AI systems. Now, other key aspects are your sovereign AI focus. We have to develop indigenous chips and infrastructure development. There will be investment push over $200 billion in the next 2 years, and responsible and ethical AI will be an important aspect of it. Now, we cannot create a system without it being ethical. So, one of the major components of India AI mission is that while developing the entire system, the entire infrastructure, we have to make sure that the AI system is ethical. Otherwise, unethical AI system can do anything. If you have seen the movie Chitti, I think Robot Chitti, this name of Rajnikant, where there are robots and they start working on their own. They take control over the humans. So the AI system should be responsible. These are some of the components of India AI mission. Now, within this AI mission, your India Semiconductor mission and Digital India mission are also integrated, because for having our own AI, we need our own semiconductor chips and the digital system. Now, other pillars and structure of India AI mission 2.0 are, let's say, your India AI compute, where we will be providing affordable high-end GPUs, graphic processing. We have seen India aims to increase it to 1 lakh GPUs in India. Now, these GPUs will not be directly bought by government. They will be in partnership with the private players under PPP agreements. So private players will procure these GPUs and government will incentivize them. Clear? Then AI Kosh is important. AI Kosh is a data platform created for AI. Basically, it is as a national repository to integrate data from government and non-government sources. Clear? Then your India AI application developments will be given. A lot of applications regarding healthcare, education will be developed. India AI future skills, basically 500 PhD scholars and 5,000 postgraduate people in AI training will be given to these people. Clear? Then your India AI Innovation Center as hubs for innovation. The India AI startup financing will be provided, and safe and trusted AI in the form of ethical AI will be created. So make sure you keep these things in mind regarding India AI Mission 2.0. It was started in 2026, announced at India AI Summit held in Delhi in February 2026. What can be the exam types? It is implemented by Niti Aayog alone. This is wrong. It is implemented by multiple agencies. And the nodal agency is MITI, Ministry of Electronics and IT. Limited to defense application? No, it is major applications involved MSME, your education, health, defense. These all are the major applications of this AI system. No emphasis on ethical AI. Again, this is wrong. We have a major emphasis on the system being ethical. Concerned only with software and not computing. Again, this is wrong. We are here focusing both on software and hardware. We are procuring more GPUs and creating software over that. Moving to the next topic. This is regarding your Solicitor General. He has launched a book on cosmic tales from the court. Basically, who is Solicitor General? Solicitor General is the law officer of the government. Now, in this respect, for the perspective of your prelims, we will see various law officers of the government. Now, who is the highest law officer of the government? Attorney General of India. He is the highest law officer of the government. It is a constitutional post under Article 76. I think in 2019 or 2020, in mains also, we got a question regarding Attorney General of India, a 10 marker or 15 marker question on Attorney General of India. So they are appointed by the president and they have to be qualified to be a judge of Supreme Court. Only a person who is as qualified as becoming a judge of Supreme Court, only they can become the Attorney General of India. And what are the qualifications of being a Supreme Court judge? Basically, either you have to be a judge of High Court for 5 years, or you have to be a practicing advocate in a High Court for 10 years, at least 10 years, or either you should be a distinguished jurist. Okay? And these are the 3 criteria for becoming Supreme Court judge, and these all 3 criteria have to be fulfilled here also for becoming Attorney General. Now there are certain functions and rights of the Attorney General. They advises union government on legal matters. Okay, all the legal matters government take Attorney General's help. He has right to speak in Parliament. In both the houses, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, the Attorney General can speak. He can attend the meetings, he can participate in meetings and can speak also. But the right to vote is not there, because right to vote is only with the MPs. He is not a full-time government servant. This is sometimes some people critique that you allow the Attorney General to have private practicing going on. It might happen that in the morning the Attorney General is appearing in a court as representative of Government of India, and in the evening they are representing some private party and individual. This can happen. So because they are not the permanent government servant, because these advocates, these are very senior advocates, they charge very high amount, they charge in crores for single hearings and those matters. So why such senior lawyer will give up their practice and just become a government servant? They are very respected, very senior lawyers, so they do continue their activity. Only on this condition they become the Attorney General. So these are the conditions fulfilled. Now to assist Attorney General, you have Solicitor General of India also, who assists the Attorney General. Now he is the second highest law officer of the country. And it is an executive and statutory post, not a constitutional post. Only Advocate General is a constitutional post, not Statutory General. They assist Attorney General and they represent union government in the courts. They are created by the Appointment Committee. They are created by the Appointment Committee of the Cabinet. Appointment. I think it is headed by Home Minister. Just cross-verify this thing once. Okay, Appointment Committee appoints the Solicitor General of India. Similarly, you have Additional Solicitor General. Now, this article is regarding Solicitor General, who has written a book. Okay? So, apart from them, you have Additional Solicitor General also, who assist Solicitor General of India in court cases and legal matters. So, basically, these two, both Solicitor General and Additional Solicitor General, they are there to assist Attorney General of India. And Attorney General is the constitutional post, not any else. Clear? These are for central government. Now, when we come to the law office of the state government, in state you have Advocate General of State. Just like Attorney General for center, you have Advocate General for state. Now, again, this is a constitutional post under Article 165. Okay, under Article 165. He is the highest law officer of state. Just like Attorney General for center, Advocate General for state, rest all are same. Here it is under Article 76, Advocate General is under Article 165. Appointed by governor. In that case, there was president. Here it is governor. He must be qualified to become a judge of High Court. There, Attorney General has to be qualified to being judge of a Supreme Court. Advocate General should be qualified to become judge of a High Court. And what are the conditions? Again, either you have to be a judicial officer for 10 years, or you have to be a 10-year advocate, practicing advocate for 10 years. These are the two conditions. Now, prominent, eminent jurist, this condition is only for Supreme Court, not here. Clear? They advise state governments on legal matters and can speak in state legislative. The same powers what Attorney General has in Parliament, Advocate General have in State Legislative Assembly. However, they cannot vote on any matter. They can just participate in Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council. They cannot vote, only MLAs can vote. Clear? So what can be the exam traps here? Attorney General is a statutory post. This is wrong. Attorney General is constitutional post. Statutory post है आपकी advocate, not this is your Solicitor General and Additional Solicitor General of India. These are statutory posts. Solicitor General is constitutional. This is again wrong. Advocate General is appointed by President. No, Advocate General is appointed by Governor. He is for the state. Attorney General of India can vote in Parliament. This is wrong. They cannot vote. They can just take part in any proceedings. They can take part in any committee. They can represent government there, but they cannot vote. Advocate General must be qualified as Supreme Court judge. No, wrong. He must be qualified as High Court judge. Advocate General. Then Attorney General of India is a full-time government employee. Now this is wrong. They are not full-time government employees. They can do private practicing also. Clear? So these were some of the exam tests for government law officers. I hope these are clear now. Moving to the next topic, it is regarding the heat crisis which Delhi is facing. Now what is happening basically? You are witnessing urban heat island effect in cities like Delhi, where even the night temperatures are also very high. So what is the urban heat island effect? Urban areas, they become significantly warmer than the surrounding rural areas due to human activities and build-up spaces. Look at this graph. What happens? Here it is temperature. Let's say this is your 28, 29 degree Celsius in the farms, residential suburbs, parks. But when it comes to towns and cities, urban areas, the temperature reaches right up to 33, 34. You see, the urban areas are witnessing 5 to 6 degree higher temperature as compared to the rural areas in that particular latitude. That is called urban heat island effect. So kind of island of heat is created over urban areas where they witness a very high temperature. Now why this is happening? The main causes are concrete. A lot of buildings are created. Sometimes these buildings are called, urban areas are called concrete jungles. Asphalt absorb heat. Both concrete and asphalt used in creating roads, they absorb a lot of heat. That heat then remains in the land, which is slowly released and creates heat in the night also. You have lack of vegetation. The trees are being cut. For example, for creation of metro project in Delhi, a lot of old trees, 100-year-old trees were cut on the roads. Then you have a lot of vehicular and industrial emission, which further exacerbate the situation of pollution and greenhouse effect, the heating effect. Then you have waste from ACs of buildings. A lot of air conditioning is being used in the buildings. Waste heat, when they cool the air, some heat is also generated. That waste heat is then thrown into the atmosphere. So it creates a loop. ACs create more heat is require more AC will be there, and then they create more heat. So loop is created. They are common in densely populated cities like Delhi, Mumbai, etc. And in high-rise urban clusters, because when these high-rise buildings are there, they absorb more and more heat. They do not allow easy evaporation to happen. Clear? What will be the effects? The effects will be higher night temperature, because there will be slow heat release from the buildings as we have seen. Normally in the rural area, what will happen? The land, the plants, the water body, they will show reflection. They will reflect a lot of solar radiations. So the area remains cool. But here it is, heat is being absorbed and slowly released. So leads to urban heat island effect. There will be increased energy demands. More cooling will be required, and further it will lead to higher your heat in the urban areas. There will be heat stress and health risk because of heat waves, and poor air quality will be there because of this heat island effect. Okay. Now what it will do, it will also intensify heat wave impact in cities. Heat wave, I hope you guys must be knowing that whenever there is departure from the normal temperature by 4 to 6 degrees Celsius, it is called heat wave. Let's say the normal temperature should be 34 degrees Celsius today, but the temperature is 41, 5, 6, 7 degrees higher, then it is a condition of heat wave. If the temperature is more than 6.4 degrees Celsius higher than the normal, it is extreme heat wave. Clear? It applies to plains when the temperature goes beyond 40 degrees Celsius. In coastal areas, if it goes below above 37 degrees Celsius, and in hills, if it goes above 30 degrees Celsius, then the conditions of these heat waves are created. And apart from this, let's say if the temperature has gone beyond 45 degrees Celsius, then we do not see the departure from the normal. Then in any case, the temperature is so warm that it is a condition of heat wave. Okay? Actual maximum temperature in plains or all areas, if it is more than 45 degrees Celsius, then we will not see the departure then from the normal temperature. We will see agar temperature 46 hai, normally itna hi hota summers mein, that is a condition of heat wave. Clear? And in coastal areas, if it is more than 40, because coastal areas you have maritime effect, which cools down the atmosphere. But if the temperature is beyond 40, then it is a condition of heat wave. Clear? So either you have maximum temperature of this much, or you have lower temperature but higher than normal, then again condition of heat wave is there. So this also you remember for the prelims perspective. What can be the mitigation measures? The green cover, planting more vegetation, improving the parks, Miyawaki vegetation. Miyawaki vegetation is a method of growing urban areas, urban forest on a small patch of land. Very dense seeds are planted and of local native trees. Then on very small patches of land, forests are grown in urban areas. That has to be done. Cool roofs have to be created. Surfaces have to be created in such a manner that they reflect most of the sun radiations. They do not absorb the heat. Urban forests, as I've told you, Miyawaki forests have to be created. Miyawaki was a technique developed by a Japanese person called Miyawaki who developed this technique. So uske naam pe Miyawaki forests are called. You have to have sustainable urban planning in the form of walkable cities, supporting public infrastructure. If better public infrastructure is there, less cars will be used by the people and less vehicle exhaust, less emission and less heating will be there. Less energy requirement will be there. Clear? And there are examples in India of urban heat effect, like in Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad. They are showing strong urban heat island effect. Clear? Fairly easy topic. Now let's see some of the exam traps. Now this urban heat island effect are caused mainly by ozone depletion. This is wrong. They are majorly caused by lack of vegetation cover, by absorption of more solar radiation and all those activities. Vegetation increases urban heat island effect. Wrong. Vegetation decreases urban heat island effect. Then only daytime phenomena, this urban heat island. No, it is witnessed in the night time also, because slowly the heat is released from the buildings and the roads. Then urban heat island reduces electricity demand, it increases. You require more cooling system to tackle the heat island effect, and it occurs only in developed countries. Again, this is wrong. Mostly your developing countries are more affected by this urban heat island effect, because developed countries, they have technologies, they focus on sustainability, they focus on creating green infrastructure. What is happening in India right now, I don't know who is creating the designs for infrastructure. Let's say your Varanasi riverfront has been created, the ghats have been created. No green plant have been laid in that project. Any riverfront they are creating, they are devoid of trees. Any other roads they are creating, they are putting in non-native trees. You put in large native trees which will provide a lot of green cover. But I don't know what government is doing. They are not creating enough green infrastructure. Coming to the last topic of today's prelims pointer, it is regarding Trinidad and Tobago. It is a Caribbean nation, the West Indian nation, where a foreign minister has gone and he has signed some agreements. So what are the Caribbean nations? Different Caribbean nations, just like, see, here you have Trinidad and Tobago. This is very close to Venezuela. This island, this large island, if you see, this is Trinidad, and here is a small island, this is Tobago. Together they are one nation called Trinidad and Tobago. Now these are the entire Caribbean nations within the Caribbean Sea. Now these, some are called Greater Antilles. The countries like Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic and Bahamas, they are part of Greater Antilles. They together are called Greater Antilles countries. Then you have Lesser Antilles countries. They are smaller. Antigua and Barbuda, Saint Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, Barbados, Saint Lucia, Saint Vincent and this Grenada and Trinidad and Tobago. These all are part of Lesser Antilles. So you must know what is the difference between Greater Antilles and Lesser Antilles. These are larger countries. Jamaica is also part of this Greater Antilles. Clear? Jamaica से कौन famous sports person आते हैं? Tell me in the comment section. And if you are a sports fan, if you watch Neeraj Chopra's javelin events, you must also know there is also a good sports person from Grenada who also a lot of times he beats Neeraj Chopra in javelin. Then they are part of the Caribbean Sea. You have Caribbean Sea here. Then you have Gulf of Mexico. You have Atlantic Ocean in the north. These are the major seas here. Apart from this, what you also have to remember, here there are some territories of USC. For example, here if you see that you have Puerto Rico, a US territory here. You have Virgin Islands of UK, Britain holds the territory of them. You have Saba Islands where Netherlands hold the territory. You have Anguilla where again UK holds the territory. You have Saint Barts where France holds the territory. Again you have Virgin Islands of US also. And Saint Eustatius of Netherlands. So a lot of foreign islands are also there. So because of strategic importance, none of these countries want to let go of these islands from their hand. Clear? Apart from this, what else we need to remember here is about the currents. Now see, one major difference is what happens when the North equatorial current comes from here. North equatorial Atlantic current. It is a warm current. When it comes here, it goes towards America. One part of it goes here in the Caribbean Sea as Caribbean current, and one part goes here like this as Antilles current. So this is a bifurcation. The North Atlantic equatorial current does not directly become the Gulf Stream. So this is the Gulf Stream here. It does not directly become Gulf Stream on the western side of the ocean. It first becomes Caribbean current and Antilles current. This then becomes Florida current, because this is the Florida state of USA here. If you see a peninsula, that is your Florida peninsula. Clear? Then this becomes Gulf Stream. Gulf Stream goes ahead and becomes North Atlantic drift. This North Atlantic drift further goes towards Norway, and it keeps these the port region or the coastal regions of Norway ice free throughout the year. Because of this warm current, you do not witness frozen ice on these coasts. Otherwise, what kind of temperature here we witness, these ports will be completely frozen. Fine. So then it is a cold current as a canary current in the Atlantic Ocean, which creates this entire gyre. So you remember these small currents. This is again a cold current as a Labrador current on the west side of Greenland. On the east side of Greenland, here you have east. This is called East Greenland current. Okay. A small Irminger current is also there, which is a warm current, which is an offshoot of North Atlantic drift, which moves like this from here. Okay. On the south of Iceland, this is Iceland. On the south of Iceland, you have Irminger current. So you must be remembering all these currents. Clear? Now, what can be the exam traps here? These Caribbean islands, these nations are located in the Pacific Ocean. This is wrong. They are located in larger Atlantic Ocean, specifically Caribbean Sea. All islands are volcanic erosion. This is again wrong. All are not volcanic. Some are volcanic. Some are built of coral reefs. Okay? Built of coral, just like how Lakshadweep Islands of India are. Bahamas lie in the Caribbean Sea only. Now this is wrong. Bahamas lie in the Atlantic also. Now look at here. This is Bahamas. Here you have Atlantic Ocean. Here you have Caribbean Sea. So Bahamas largely lie in Atlantic Ocean, not in Caribbean Sea. Then you have CARICOM is a military alliance. CARICOM is the Caribbean Committee. Caribbean Committee. This is an economic committee, not a military alliance. This is an economic alliance of the countries of Caribbean island, Caribbean nations. Okay, basically these countries under this CARICOM, they come together and create their economic policies, how they can trade between among them. Then Caribbean region is free from cyclones. This is again wrong. You have a lot of cyclones here, which are called, I think, hurricanes. Okay, these are called hurricanes in USA. Yes, these cyclones in India, they are called cyclones. In China, they are called typhoon. USA, they are called hurricanes, and in Australia, they are called willy willy. Also remember this distinction. Clear? So with this, we come to into today's discussion. Guys, make sure you write your daily answer writing, and all the best for your upcoming prelims. I'll see you in the next test discussion. Thank you.